Who is the most masculine Democrat right now in America?
And there's
Mayor Pete.
Is that a gay joke?
No. Mayor Pete. No. Well, no, it's just that he's not particularly masculine. Nobody's like, oh, Mayor Pete, he's a badass. Chuck Schumer. Is anybody like, hey, Chuck Schumer holding up an avocado and a beer to talk about the Super Bowl? Is anybody like that trying to grill? Is anybody like, hey, that's a dude I want to hang out with?
But Trump's like a grandpa.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Trump took a bullet in his ear and immediately stood up and said, fight, fight, fight. Every man in America and most of the women out here were impressed by that, even if the women won't admit it. She's shaking her head strong. And second part of this, Democrats for men are pussies and Republicans
Democrats for men
are pussies. There are no masculine men in the Democrat Party right now. And for a lot of young people are going to be upset. For a lot of young men, if you want to talk about what they're looking for, there is a wide range of masculinity that's popular on the internet right now, right? Think about it. Jordan Peterson, who is super philosophical.
Grandpa.
Somewhat, yes, but also super philosophical and frankly, I think almost impossible to understand at times, is wildly popular, right? I would put him on one extreme of someone who speaks to young men. On the other extreme is Andrew Tate, right? There is a huge dichotomy between what Jordan Peterson would be saying and what Andrew Tate would be saying. And there's all sorts of people in the middle. I would put myself in the middle somewhere there, right? But what they all represent is young men searching for masculinity and what it means. And unfortunately, a lot of young men don't have father figures in the household. So you said, Donald Trump may be a grandfather. A lot of people refer to him as Daddy Trump. They're looking for a strong masculine figure in their life. They may have a single parent household. It wasn't just white kids who showed up and overwhelmingly started voting for Trump. Black, Hispanic, Asian kids. I think what it represents is masculinity is under siege. We've seen religion decline. If you really want me to drive this room crazy, here you go. Every woman in here right now, they probably won't say it publicly, but one day they would like to be married to a man who makes more money than them and will give them an opportunity to raise kids without having to have a job on their own. Every single one of you, I think that's true.
That sounds really fucking boring, and I'm speaking as a person with 3 kids.
I'm telling you, it's true. I'm not saying I want to stay home with kids all day. I'm saying you want the opportunity to do it. That's true. And if you're not thinking it yet, you will be at some point. And that's because biology is real, which Democrats also don't believe. Who is the most masculine Democrat
Welcome
right now?
to the J.J. Carrell Show. Masculinity. If you watched my show prior to this, I talk about corruption, the border, government, abuse and fraud. But I also talk about God. I talk about the absolute lack of the father in America has destroyed America, and masculinity has to rise up. And I'm beginning to see it. We're all beginning to see masculinity rise up. For over a decade now, we have been marginalized. I haven't, but men in general have. Told that we're toxic, that we are overbearing, that women don't need men. And look at what we have now in America. You, the crazy left, and the impotent, coward Republicans allowed mental patients to destroy our cultural and societal norms, which were God's natural design, destroyed it. And now we're all sitting here and we're shocked that there's chaos in America, that nothing makes sense. Well, you took a man and a woman as God created to be one, husband and wife, have children, grow a family. You destroyed that. You now make us have to have 2, sometimes 3 jobs. You remove the man. You can artificially inseminate 2 lesbian women. We've mutilated our children. We've pushed the dads to the side, said we don't need dads. And now we live in absolute and utter chaos. Violence off the chart. Why is violence off the chart? Because there isn't a strong man in the house reining the alpha males in. Why do you think, let me put it to you this way, 340 million-ish people in America. A very a significant percentage of them are hardened criminals. Just be honest. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, 10%. And it's more than 10%. 10%. 34 million. Try to understand how big that number is. 34 million. And you only have 660,000 law enforcement officers. Do the math. Shift work, days off, holiday, court, training. You got a couple thousand max working every single day across 50 states. Why does the savages stay at bay? Or why is the better question, why did the savages stay at bay? Because they had to face alpha males and they were going to be punished. Now, there is no alpha male. There is no law and order. Do not kid yourself. It's coming from a guy that did it for 24 years and been researching and writing about it for the last 4. It doesn't exist. We're trying to get it back. It doesn't happen overnight. Why do you think the savages are out of control? Why do you think there's raping and pillaging and murdering and killing going on in America ad nauseum? Because there's no one to keep the savages at bay. Same thing in a household. What keeps young men harnessed in? Are they fearful of their mother? Up until about maybe 9 or 10, yes. After that, no. What keeps men, young boys, tethered to good behavior? Their fear of their father. A healthy fear of your dad. My dad stood 6'3", 275 pounds, and a bear of a man. He looked like a hitman. He's a Native American with jet black hair. He was intimidating as hell. There was no stepping out of line with him. There was no arguing with him. There was no, I wonder if I could push my father around. That didn't enter our brain. Was he violent? No. Can I remember him punishing me, like physically punishing me past, say, 11? Like a swat, like a passing swat on my butt? No. I feared him. I feared his physicality. But more than all of that, I feared disappointing my father. Above all else, I'd rather take a beating from my dad than for my father to look at me calmly and say, "You are disappointing me." Whoa. But when you remove that, and there is no boundaries for young men, they will do what's natural. And their natural instinct is to push the envelope, is to become violent, is to become aggressive. You need someone to teach a young boy how to be a man. Small things. Shake someone's hand. Look him in the eye. Your word, your last name that's tied to your word is all that matters. Everything else will come good after that, or it will come bad after that if your word is worthless. Teaching a man to be violent, to be physical when needed, and to harness that when it is not. Those are two very important things. People, our society for a long time has wanted men, just like Clay said in that clip, they wanted American men to be pussies. They wanted American men to be soft. When the bell rung, they didn't want them to be able to stand up and fight. They didn't. A real man, when the bell rings, goes headfirst into that war and does everything he can to win. A real man, when that bell does not ring and we need to have discussions, good, bad, or indifferent, agree or not, but there's no physicality needed, harnesses that. Even if the weaker man calls you vile names, slanders you, you know that the violence is not a place in this argument, and you restrain yourself. Now, you may say to that man, I am restraining myself right now. If you slander me anymore, I'm coming over there and it's going to be physical. Now, all bets are off because you warned him. We don't live in that world anymore. Sometimes I think I was born in the wrong generation. I really do. I look back in the Wild West and think those were men. Someone stole your horse, you killed them. Someone stole your stuff, you killed them. Somebody raped your wife, oh dear God, you killed them. Now, what do? Someone stole my car, I call the cops. Somebody stole all my stuff in my house, I call the cops. Somebody raped my wife, I will go to court and I will plead with the judge to give them, the maximum sentence. You know what I would do? God forbid any of that stuff happen. Yeah, Mr. Carrell, do you have something to say to the court? Yes, Your Honor. I ask for the court's forgiveness. I want this gentleman to be released into society. I think he needs another chance because I want the opportunity to hunt him down like an animal. And if you hurt my family, then I would proceed to inflict ungodly amounts of pain and suffering on that individual. And that's the difference between this enlightened world that we find ourselves with very, very impotent, cowardly, gutless men, and those men are in charge. Those geeks in social media land, those geeks that created Facebook and all that, thank God for them, they did great, but they're geeks. The impotent beta males have found their way into our politics, and they're running our shows. Why do you think they're so repulsed by Pete Hegseth? Because he's a man. Why do you think they're so repulsed by Tom Homan? Because he's a man. He's just telling you how he's going to act. You don't have to like it. This is just what a man says and how a man acts. If you think we're going to continue down this road of destroying masculinity, you're a fool. And the gentleman that was just speaking on that clip of the Clay and Buck show, he's absolutely right when he says the younger generation. I'm telling you, as a father of a young boy becoming a man in the younger generation, that 12 to 20 and that 20 to 30, I kind of split those generations, kind of like they're not the same, but they're thinking the same. They despise everything that is above that generation. They look at them and they're perplexed. Like, I don't understand. You have a penis. You have a vagina. You're a boy. You're a girl. What is going on? And they look up and they say, man, they're secular. They're sexually perverse. They don't have any jobs. They're mutilating their bodies. They're unhappy. More than anything, my son's generation and the one just above them are looking at the 30-somethings and going, they're miserable. They're not having children. Their eggs, the women's eggs are dying daily. They're going to be childless in their 40s and they're going to be miserable. And my son's generation is looking at this and going, we want no part of this. How do we not end up like that? We'll become men. Why do you think Andrew Tate is off the chart? Jordan Peterson, off the chart. Why? Why do you think those men that preach hardcore masculinity, like real strong masculine traits, why are they popular? Because there are millions, tens of millions of young adult men or coming into young adulthood that they desire that masculinity. They desire that man to look up to. I had it. I was blessed. I had my father. There was no need for me to go to look at movies or read a book or try to find a coach. Like, I had great teachers that were men, coaches that were men, and a lot of them I really respect and looked up to. People in my career that I looked up to that I was like, this is what I kind of want to emulate myself. But I didn't have to go looking for it. I had it in my house. I had a man that had a wife and 6 kids. I had a man that was a Secret Service agent over 7 presidential administrations. A bear of a man, a masculine man, a man that kissed and loved me and my brothers and sisters. Like, everyone looked at my father like he was, like I said, a hitman. He was intimidating. but to his family, he was the most loving man on earth. Like, I have friends that don't even know if their father loves them. I say, wait a minute, hold on a second. I mean, your father's told you before, right? That he loves you. No. Okay. You're freaking in your 40s and 50s. What are you talking about? No, we didn't do that. He didn't hug you, didn't kiss you. My dad hugged and kissed me. He told me he loved me all the time. He would tell me, I'm very proud of you, son. And so it's foreign to me when I hear masculinity and how bad it is. I'm looking at my example and his father and my great grandfather and my mother's father and his father were masculine men. I didn't have to conjure up in my mind what masculinity was. And I sure as hell don't need purple hair, body pierced, face pierced, tattoo faced nut jobs that don't know what sex they are. Tell me what masculinity is. I know what it is. I know the importance of it. And there are times that I'm perplexed, that I am shocked that how some men don't understand what masculinity is. And then I start talking to them and I realize you never had a father. You never had someone that you looked up to and said, that is what I want to be like. A lot of men my age and the generation below me in the 30-somethings are piecing together my father. They're piecing together Pete Hegseth. Now, was my father perfect? No. Is Pete Hegseth? No, he's been through personal problems. There is no perfect person. Is Donald Trump perfect? Dear God, no. But is he masculine? Is he determined? Does he persevere? Is he relentless? Does he have moments of weakness where he wants to just cry and shut a world out? I'm sure he does, because every man feels it. Every man has that moment in their life where they look at their life, they question what's going on, they question how they got there, they feel overwhelmed, and they feel as if they're going to cry. And do you know what real men do? And I don't care what the psychologists say. I don't care. You know what real men do? They pull themselves back physically and put themselves in a room where no one can hear them. And then they cry for whatever they're crying over. A death of a loved one, a buddy, their life's in shambles, a divorce, the daily struggle to provide for their family, the feeling of not accomplishing what you feel and believe God wanted you to with the talents he gave you. You have not hit that, whatever that mark is that's burned in your brain, and you think you have to hit it and you haven't hit it. We have these struggles as men. We feel this overwhelming expectation to be successful, to protect our family, to be a good father, a good brother and son. And those expectations have been watered down and told they're bad. No, they're not. They're spot on. And why do you feel this way? Why do you feel this need, this expectation to be these things? Because God built us this way. He built us to want to care for our loved ones, take care of our wives and our children, to provide for them, to internalize pain, internalize suffering, internalize sadness. Am I saying that you have to go through life keeping all to yourself? No. You need a release. You need someone to trust. Well, that would be your wife or your brother, your father, your mother. But those moments of weakness, those moments of I need to speak to someone, they have to be fewer and fewer and fewer. The world tells you that you need to cry every day and bemoan everything and let everything out. No, that's false. This is what I teach my son. I tell him, you must internalize. You must internalize that pain that you have, that fear that you have. I am here to hear you whenever you need to speak, and speak to me about anything. And you have to be honest with me because I can't help you if you're not honest. It may disappoint me. It may be something that is hard to overcome, but we will overcome it. You have this ability, and I am here for you. Your mother is here for you. However, son, why do men internalize? Why do men feel a need to suffer in silence? It's really simple. Because we believe that that is the fuel that makes us become successful. There is nothing wrong with internalizing your anger, your resentment, your desire for violence, and fuel you to become a better man. Instead of going and caving someone's skull in because they cut you off on the road, or they said something really rude to you at the grocery store. Internalize that. Become a better man, become more polite, more courageous, more considerate, more civil. And go to the gym. Go for a run. Push your body to the point where it hurts and use that as your fuel to become a stronger and better man. What's wrong with that? Ask any woman out there. Ask any woman, do you want an effeminate man that wants to talk to you about poetry and their feelings and cry to you? Or do you want some dude that when the bell rings in life is not going to flinch? He's going to stand in front of you and he's going to take the brunt of everything. If he needs to get a second job and sleep 4 hours a night, he's going to do it, not you. Your kids need more clothes, they need whatever, he's going to get it. Who do you think they're going to choose? Again, why are people like Dr. Peterson, the Tate brothers, guys like Joe Rogan, even Tucker Carlson, not even, but and Tucker Carlson? Why are young men pulled to those individuals? Because they're speaking the truth, and young men want the truth, and they're given guidance. And we want that guidance as men. We want to know what our parameters are. I give my son parameters. He butts up on them. And I like that. I encourage it. I don't want a docile boy. I want a young man becoming a man that's going to bump up on the bumpers and say, why? Why is that bumper there? Why is that guardrail there? I don't think I need it. Well, this is why you need it. And have a hard discussion. What does the other side look like? Our side is Tom Homan, Rodney Scott, who's the Commissioner of Customs and Border Protection, Pete Hegseth, to a degree, Marco Rubio, Andrew Tate, Peterson, Tucker Carlson, MMA fighters, boxers, athletes. What's their side? Their side is the largest group of effeminate, beta gay males in American history. I mean, there could not be a more definitive line in the sand of alpha males, beta males. I pulled this up. I was looking for Pete Buttigieg, or as Biden used to call him, Pete Booty Juice. You can't make this up. He called him Booty Juice. So I was looking for that. And I was like, you know what? I don't even want to see those two jackasses. So I found a clip and I was like, yeah, this really ties into what I'm trying to say. This is a gentleman talking about the air traffic controllers, the airplane industry, and the difference between working for Booty Juice and Biden and working for Trump, and how it's all tied to masculinity. Everything we talk about on this program, Everything is tied to each other. Masculinity is no different. Play this one for us, Nick, please.
They're pining for the days of Pete Buttigieg.
Nobody is pining for the days of Pete Buttigieg. I don't care what political party you're from. If you're in the world of airlines and transportation, nobody wants that administration back. It was nothing but punitive, massive regulations, take 10% of the airlines out of the sky for, DEI and environmental reasons, crushing the industry, completely crippling it. Now you have a president that actually ran an airline, right? The Trump airline, loves the airlines, understands its strategic national asset, and is making the real investments, and have put people in place like Sean and Brian Bedford that say, we're going to get it done. They're putting their reputations on it. That hasn't happened before in a long time in government, to say, we're going to go after a $30 billion high-tech modernization infrastructure project, and we promise we're going to get it done. That's real money and real leadership.
He's right. And we could add Sean Duffy to that too. Sean Duffy's gone in and absolutely obliterated all the DEI and all the crap. It takes courage to do that. It takes courage to say, nah, we're not doing any of this crap. I'm literally throwing it all away. And anybody that wants that, I'll throw you away too. That's masculinity. Well, that's Booty Juice and Biden. Let's look at someone else currently who's running the Democrat Party. That would be Hakeem Jeffries. Has anybody seen anybody as dumb as him? Besides like AOC? No. And this man, the government shut down. My brothers and sisters in law enforcement and federal law enforcement haven't been paid in almost a month. Military people are in food pantry lines, and this jackass is on MSNBC talking about the East Wing being gutted and how he's going to find out who's funding this. What? That's what you're arguing about? This guy's disgusting, but he is a beta male. Look at that face and tell me, is that not a face that disgusts you? Play this for us, Nick, please.
Any executive authority. And more likely, this is part of what Donald Trump has been doing since day one of his presidency, running the largest pay-to-play scheme in the history of the country, and probably soliciting donations from people who've got business before the United States government. And all of this is going to have to be investigated. It will. All of this will have to be uncovered. It will. And these people are going to be held accountable no matter how long it takes. That's going to be the reality of the situation. And that's our warning to all of these people participating in this scheming to manipulate taxpayer dollars and, of course, to destroy the people's house. The White House belongs to the American people. It doesn't belong to Donald Trump.
Final question.
The people's house. You stupid piece of trash. The White House is falling apart. When Donald Trump came in 2016, he was appalled at how grotesque it was. Paint chipping, everything. Hakeem Jeffrey didn't make any peep when we used our money for the People's House to build a basketball court for Barack Obama. Barack Obama had enough time to shoot baskets. Do you know I have to carve out time for my son and I to go play basketball before his first tryout of the season? We have to carve out time. I wasn't the president. I'm not the president of the United States. He built a basketball court. When the hell was he playing basketball? You talk about what he played like 2 times a year. So we spent millions of dollars for a basketball court, and Donald Trump is paying for the ballroom out of his own pocket. You can't understand that, Jeffries, because you are a government whore. Everything that you've gotten is from the government. Let's look at another guy that's in charge. This would be the gutless Chuck Schumer, Chucky Schumer. He has to be 80 plus years old. He's got balding hair with hair plugs in the front. He's slumped over. In his back is so crooked. He's slumped over. You think it's time for this guy to leave? But this is who they're trying to put up as a masculine man. This guy, this piece of trash. Let's listen to him and listen to what he talks about. He's actually making the argument that the media is covering for Donald Trump. The media is on Donald Trump's side. This is what the Democrat Party believes is their version of an alpha male. Play this, please.
I would ask my colleague, one of the greatest blows to democracy when we don't have a fully free press, and has it been a hallmark of so many of the countries that he has mentioned that are autocracies or absolute dictatorships to have no free press, so no information can come out. And doesn't that dramatically hurt the American people? When government is shielded and can do whatever it wants and hurt as many people as it wants because you don't have a free press, doesn't it really shouldn't it really frighten every American that this is a large step on the road away from democracy?
Nick, you can turn that off.
Tyranny?
I can't take it anymore. This guy, he's putting me to sleep. That's less than a minute long, and I can't even tolerate up to 40 seconds of it. That guy is disgusting. He's a leader, but he makes decisions that have profound impact on your life. Now, you take Hawkins Jeffries, you take Buttigieg, you take Biden, and you take this old, decrepit old man. Those are the leaders of the Democrat Party. Now, let me show you my leader, and tell me if you could see a difference between the way Chuck Schumer talks and Buttigieg and this man. Play this, please.
Well, I think it's a shame that it's shut down because we have the greatest economy, as you were saying before. We have the greatest economy in the world right now, by far, the United States. We have almost 18, now it was 17, now it's $18 trillion being poured into our country, and it's no time for shutdowns. I don't think it's affecting what we're doing, but it's too bad for a lot of people. We have a lot of good people that aren't working right now that should be, and it's because the Democrats want to try and renegotiate a deal that they had negotiated. They want $1.5 trillion given to illegal immigrants who came into the country, and it's going to hurt the health care of citizens of our country that have been paying into it, that have been working hard for it, that really deserve it. So we're never going to do that. It's not going to happen. And I will tell you, there are a lot of good Democrats that really want to make a deal. And I think all we need is 5 Democrats because we have a great support on the Republican side. So I think we need 5 Democrats, and there are a lot of them that want to make a deal. So I think at some point, common sense will prevail.
Common sense will prevail because we have a leader. You think that guy's getting pushed around? You think that guy's not an alpha? Like when he walks into a room, is there any question? Yeah, he's different than my father, like different personalities. But at the same time, like when my father walked in a room, I have to imagine it's the same thing if Donald Trump walks in a room. There's no question who's the alpha in the room. Like my dad used to walk in to rooms with other men, other law enforcement guys. And he was never push people away or use physicality. Never, never, never. He was very kind and proper and civil. But there was no question from a young man looking at his father and looking, not really understanding, but knowing the dynamics of men and looking at the other men and going, holy smokes, my dad is the man. Like I'm looking at the body language. My dad's the man. That has to be the way that Donald Trump is. When he walks in, there is no question. Well, is Pete Hegseth running this? Is J.D. Vance running this? Is Marco Rubio? No. There's no, like with Biden, we had no idea, still don't know who ran the government. With Trump, there is nobody scratching their head. They're going, that man is in charge. Oh, yeah. With the government being shut down, going on almost now our 4th week, going toward our 4th week. If you think you are prepared, if you think the government is going to help you in any way, even with leaders like Trump and Hegseth and Vance and Rubio, et cetera, you're a fool. You must be prepared. And that's why I start my show with one of my best partnerships, I'll say, is the product comes from sat123.com. I'm going to have Chris Hoare on tomorrow. He's a executive within Sat123, and we come on and we talk about the products because I feel that compelled to share this with you. So every Friday on my show, I have him on for 10 minutes. We just talk about a current event. We talk about something that's happening in America that highlights the need for sat phones, the need for a generator with solar power, a need for Faraday bags, a need for ballistic backpacks. Every time I talk about Sat123, the first thing that pops into my head is my son. And as I send him on to school every day, he leaves with a ballistic backpack. I love it, and then I hate it. It's the same emotions every single time. I love that my son's protected. I hate that this is the world he lives in. But I cannot stick my head in the sand and think, I love it, but everything's great. Everything's not great. I will not believe that. You're not going to tell me that. I lived too long in law enforcement to see the evil that is everywhere, to sit here and be Pollyanna to you. Not going to do it. sat123.com/JJ. Go there. Support the companies that support us. sat123.com/JJ. I have a great guest. I'm going to have 2 guests, mainly 2-3 guests a week. Have a great guest coming on in just a few minutes, but I want to talk about this. Let's put a face on treason. Let's put a face on open borders for 4 solid years that brought in 30 million people. Let's put a face on what Mayorkas did, and he should be in jail, but he's not. Biden should be in jail. But Biden and Mayorkas released this man. I'm going to try to pronounce his name, and I don't even give a crap. He's an Indian. Jahasapret Singh. He was released by Biden in 2022, and now he's 21 years old, and he got a CDL in California. And yesterday, he was high on drugs and drunk, and this is what happened.
Now take a look. This is exclusive dash cam video that is now the subject of several law enforcement investigations. Shows the moment a red semi-truck plowed into a number of vehicles on the westbound 10 freeway in Ontario just after 1 p.m. yesterday. The CHP told the LA Times the driver of this big rig is a 21-year-old man who is now under arrest on suspicion of driving under the influence of drugs. A total of 4 semis were involved and also 4 passenger vehicles, one of them exploding in flames. 3 people were killed and 4 others were taken to local hospitals. This horrific crash happened just east of the 15 freeway and shut down all westbound lanes for more than 12 hours. Thousands of drivers were trapped in the gridlock just as the evening commute was getting underway. It also happened near the Ontario airport, so the crash likely delayed people that were trying to get to their flights. Now take a look. This is
Unbelievable. So I had a gentleman on my last show, and he is the spearhead, tip of the spear of getting all this changed. And he showed me the amount of deaths caused by illegal alien truck drivers has skyrocketed since Joe Biden took office. And what they did is they had no test. They don't speak English, and they just gave them CDLs and put them in driving. And they're killing Americans every single day on the highway. How many people were killed there? Well, I think it was 3. Do you think anybody, that little minivan, you think anybody survived that? That's a freight train. He didn't stop. He didn't hit his brakes. He just drove right through them. That's the face of treason. Let me show you another 2 faces of treason. This woman was kidnapped in Oklahoma by 2 illegal aliens and raped her to death. Go ahead. Play this.
2 men apprehended are shown right here. We have Jose Morales here on the left. He's accused of kidnapping. And then on the right, there's Luis Dominguez. He faces kidnapping, sodomy, and rape charges. The Cali County Sheriff tells me they're both being held on this ICE detainer, so they could be deported. Our Kansas City police telling us the 2 are accused of taking a woman against her will from a casino in Newkirk, Oklahoma, so just right across that state line. The woman says that she was sexually assaulted by both those suspects, and they brought her to Ark City. Police followed up on a tip and went to South 6th Street. That's on the south side of town, and they were able to find the suspects and the victim. She was taken to the hospital for treatment.
She was raped. Her life prior to that time in the casino has been murdered. That life, whatever she was, is gone. There's a new woman. And I'm not This is nothing negative about her. I'm just saying once a woman's raped, that life prior to that is dead. There's a new one. What she makes of it, I don't know. It's unfortunate and sad and is infuriating that a woman has to now recreate her life and pull pieces back together. But she will not be that same woman. Those two savages killed her. How did they get here? Well, the border was wide open and we welcomed them both. Let me show you one more. And I could go on for days. Let me make that point as clear as I can. I can bring in 1,000 videos without even trying of illegal aliens raping, pedophilia, and murdering U.S. citizens. I'm going to show you one. This guy was from Guatemala, and he was being taken care of in the state of Washington under the sanctuary law, and he just decided, you know what? I'm going to slaughter 2 women. Go ahead and play this for me.
A 29-year-old man who ICE officials say was living in the country illegally is accused in a gruesome crime. He's charged with killing his girlfriend and her friend in their home in Burien. ICE has now filed a criminal detainer with King County.
The suspect is Marvin Ortiz Montesinos, who is behind bars. He also has a wife and kids back in Guatemala. As of today, Ortiz Montesinos is being held on a $10 million bail. Fox 13's AJ Janival shows us how family members of one of the victims are hoping the community can help with their funeral plans.
Investigators report after Victoria Aparicio Cruz broke up with 29-year-old Marvin Ortiz Montesinos, he went and brutally murdered her inside of their shared home, stabbing her more than 20 times, then killing her friend and their roommate, Janeth Gomez Hernandez, a mother of a 10-year-old boy. Investigators said Ortiz Montesinos stabbed her more than 40 times.
It's okay. You're stabbed 20 times and then you're stabbed 40 times. We're all the same. You don't understand that diversity is our strength? Do you not understand that? Having balkanized communities within the United States of America based off of religion, based off of ethnicities, based off of country and origins, based off of language, based off of cultural norms, based off of criminality. It's wonderful. Don't you understand what has happened to America over the last several decades is great? Diversity is your strength. The more of these third world savages we can bring into America, the better. Don't you get it yet? Don't you understand that they were doing us a favor by bringing these savages into America? Why can't you get it? I want to bring my friend in. It's Kim Yater. Nick, is Kim ready? There's Kim Yater.
Hey,
hey. She's
Hello.
A very good friend of me and my show. I have her on once a week because she is like a shot of hope when I am in a world of no hope in my mind at times. But Kim, welcome back. I know I brought you in after showing savages destroy our country, but you have a great show called TakeYourPowerBackShow.com. And I told you when you come in, I want to talk about a sponsor that we have.
Yes.
But I want to talk about the last weekend's No Kings protests, and I drove through one of them. It was sickening, and it ties into what we want to talk about. But I want to go ahead and show this clip of Glenn Beck, and then just get your response. Can you play this for us both, Nick? Well, I don't know. Nick is queuing it up. I think, yep, here it is. No, not this one, Nick. I'm sorry. Not this one, Nick. This is a great one. Is the one that I have number 9. If you could pull up number 9 for me, Nick. Well, I'll tell you what, if you're looking for it, you can just bring Kim back on and we'll just talk about the No Kings while you're bringing it up, Nick. That's fine with me. So while Nick is working on that, Kim, You live in California. You had No King riots around. Tell us what your take is on No Kings before we pull up this video.
Well, yeah. Well, let's talk about the leader of No Kings in my state, okay? Or the leader that is supporting the No Kings, Mr. Gavin Newsom, who you got to just say was the king of kings, you know? You can't go see your family on Thanksgiving. You can't go into the store without a mask on. You can't go on to a beach without like the no's. You can't do this. Yet he can go to a fine dining establishment that he owns with no mask and have a beautiful bottle of wine with lobbyists. I mean, that is somebody who is professing themselves to be a king. So this whole No Kings thing, it is so deceptive. We know it is run by the corrupt, like we're going to hear about in this video. So I'm beside myself because people are getting sucked into this Marxist ideology. They're being deceived. These guys lie, cheat, and steal. They are deceivers, and the public is getting sucked in thinking, oh, I relate to this. And they're literally putting out videos. Well, if you stand for this and you stand for this and it seems so good, sure, I want to be part of the No Kings. It is a lie from the pit of hell. You don't want to be a part of that.
Well, the idea that Trump is a king is absurd. If he was a king, you know what kings do not allow? They do not allow protests. They go out there and they kill everybody in the street.
That's right.
They're so stupid. But I wanted to play this. This is Glenn Beck talking about not the puppets. He's talking about the men pulling the puppet strings, and that's very important. Go ahead, Nick, and play that, please.
If this movement is truly against billionaires and the powerful, why is it funded by billionaires and the powerful? This is not about dismantling power. This is about rearranging power. So according to several sources, including Fox News, George Soros and his Open Society Action Fund granted $3 million to Indivisible. Now, this is one of the primary organizers of the No Kings protest. Soros's larger network, the Open Society Foundation, gave over $7.6 million to the same operation. We're almost at $11 million, but Soros is not alone. If you follow the funding trail, it leads to, what a surprise, the Arabella Network. Now you add in the Bill Gates Foundation, or the Ford Foundation, or here's my favorite, the Rockefeller Network. There is now this organization funded by billionaires, Riots Inc., and it is the permanent protest industrial complex. These tactics were developed by the CIA, and they're called color revolutions. And what they do is they flood the streets with, quote, organic protesters. They control the media narrative. They destabilize the existing system, and then they overthrow that system and install a new one. It is part of a longer game. Once you convince free people that freedom itself is the problem, they'll beg for a change. And that's when the kings, the real kings, step out from behind the curtain. When there's an emergency for your own good, you have to remain inside. You're not an essential worker. You can only shop at Home Depot. That's the sign of a king. Kings, they don't have to wear crowns. Usually kings just sign checks. Sometimes they fund revolutions. They are the ones writing the script for the resistance, for their own power and kingdoms.
Kim, what is your response to that or your reaction?
I mean, you know, I can't even say anymore that we're shocked. We're not shocked about any of this. I mean, if you look at something like Arabella Advisors, these guys, it's all dark money. I mean, it's feeding the Democrat Party. Do you know it was founded by former Clinton administration appointee Eric Kessler? It is so demonic, these organizations. And when you even look at something like the Ford Foundation, do you know what their motto is? We are disrupting systems to advance social justice. This is considered social justice, right? Or what about the Rockefeller Foundation, JJ? We're pioneering philanthropy that promotes the well-being of humanity by finding new solutions, building unlikely partnerships, and taking a business-like approach to deliver results for Americans and people around the world. Is that what this is? Really? Is it? No.
Well, you said the right thing. We live in demonic times, and there's no way around it. These people, and Glenn Beck's right, they're funding a revolution. The CIA has perfected this in other countries, and what is happening here has happened to other foreign nations across the globe. We are funding our own suicide.
Yes.
It's shocking. And you live in a state that, quite frankly, Kim, I don't think is blue. I don't. I think it's
not.
no. You have massive voter fraud going
Yes.
on.
Yes.
One thing that you, and I want to bring this up because this is very important. And I'm hoping Nick can pull this up on the screen for our viewers. You are holding on November 8th, I believe, in
Yes.
San Marcos, you are holding a Take Your Power Back governor debate. And you have some
Yeah, it's a
powerful people
showdown.
coming. Tell us about that, because this is how we're going to make the change where you get a Republican in the governorship, change California, and remove this, which I believe is treason. But the one way is to be able to foster and bring in these people. Tell us who's going to be there, because you have some heavy hitters when you look at this flyer.
It's going to be extraordinary. I want you to imagine this Take Your Power Back California Governor Showdown. That's on November 8th at Awaken Church. A full day event. I'm telling you, JJ, this is the opportunity. All gubernatorial candidates, these are the conservative candidates that share our values. 13 on that platform. There's only one that's not there. Now, he may change his mind and may want to be there. So we've got General Flynn, a special message. We've got Lara Logan, independent journalist. She's in Moscow right now. She's amazing. She'll be back here. We've got Dan Ball, OAN. We've got heavy hitters. We've got Tom Kaz. We've got Tammy Kelly. But what's so important is, Steve is one of the biggest runners right now, Steve Hilton. But then you've got people who've entered the race like Scott Shields, Stealth. These are people who have been doing things behind the scenes of taking our elections back. If we went to vote today in California, JJ, do you know what would happen? We certainly wouldn't win. The same mess and debacle that's been happening for years would occur. That's exactly what would happen. So there is strategy behind this. We together are taking our California back. This is an opportunity for the people's voices to be heard. We're giving power back to the people. They get to choose a candidate that's going to support their values. And these candidates, they're strategizing. They are strategizing to use their platforms wisely, because they know if we do not educate on what's really happening with elections, there's no way we're going to take this state back.
No, you're not. But I applaud you for pulling this together. This is huge. Can you tell us again the date and where we can watch it if we're like me and live in Kansas?
Okay. So if you physically can be with us, I've got people coming all from the top of the coast. I have people coming from other states. Take our CaliforniaBack.com. How California goes will impact every state in our nation. So all of us have got to be paying attention, just like what we're seeing with Mondani, right, in New York. We've got to pay attention to what's happening in California, and we can make a difference. Take our CaliforniaBack.com. And, oh my gosh, this event is going to be absolutely extraordinary. We have a VIP black tie meet and greet event as well, where you get to meet the moderators, the candidates, and leaders that are coming in from across the state to take our California back. And if you are somebody who's living in Kansas, or maybe you're living in New Jersey and you just can't make the trip, you can access the showdown piece of it at rumble.com/take your power back show /live. It's starting at 7 p.m. Pacific on the nose. But if you can physically be there, there is nothing like bumping arms with one another, activating one another. I'm telling you, people are going to leave this space completely activated and ready, strategized to take California back.
I think that's the only way to do it, is bring people together and then stress test them, right? I just think it is, because we can't make a mistake. We can't have an Arnold Schwarzenegger type person, and we have to clean up the voter rolls, and the left just won't do it. They just won't do it. Now, to go back to tie this all together, is we have a sponsor you and I share. You brought it to me. It's Patriots Made.
Yes.
So we watch No Kings. We listen to Glenn Beck, and one of the major power players in the No Kings movement that actually funded the very first one is Christy Walton of the Walmart family. And I have been pushing Patriots Made about stop giving our money to the enemy.
Yes.
Can you tell our audience why it's so important to go to Patriots Made and to purchase products from them instead of the box stores?
Yes. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Stop giving money to the enemy. It's time for we the people to take our power back. We should absolutely shop USA Made with a company that shares our values, with a company that's been around for 40 years, debt-free, privately held, and makes over 450 products that are just better, safer, and less expensive. They are a manufacturer. They partner with the consumer. 20 years ago, I tapped in Game Changer. We help fund families. Rather than your money going to support Jeff Bezos or the Wally family, it goes to support farmers, ranchers, ministries, patriots, people just like you. So go get your shopping needs met. Go to patriotsmade.com/JJ. JJ has an amazing team where they will support you in tailoring it to your specific needs. That's patriotsmade.com/JJ. No more feeding the corrupt. It's time to bankrupt the corrupt. Take your power back. You can make the difference. And every time you shop, it goes to support JJ Show. It goes to support what we're doing in California. And that's just because you've redirected your shopping. You got better, safer products. And you know what? You're bankrupting BlackRock and Vanguard and sticking it to Walmart.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because I say, and I've been saying for a long time, we are being attacked on every front, Kim, and we have to fight back on every front. And this is one of these fronts is do not fund the enemy. Kim Yater, we can find you at takeyourpowerbackshow.com. As always, you give me a little hope in a world of darkness. So thank you very much, ma'am.
Oh, I love you. I love your audience. Let's go. Let's take our California back. Let's take our country back.
Thank you. Kim Yater, she's the best. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, JJ.
Kim Yater, takeyourpowerbackshow.com. If you're new to Kim Yater, let me tell you that she is as genuine as she appears. You know, like you interview someone and they're like, wow, she's very different than she in person. Nope. That is exactly how she is in person. Positive, upbeat, charismatic, helpful. She's a wonderful person, a friend, and she brought me to Patriots Made, and I can't thank her enough for that. Another great show. It's flying by. I'm looking at when I look up to my left, I'm looking at my clock, keeping track of it so Nick doesn't cut me off. I'm going to end the show here in a minute, and I'm going to end it showing you a video. And I've seen this video before, but it popped up in my feed, and the reason why I want to show it is because this is everything America's about. Everything. When you talk about legal immigrants and you talk about how they add to our life, this man is from Cuba. And he just got his first paycheck from working for, it looks like UPS. And the excitement that his time is his. When he works, it's his. This is what makes America great. Do I want 30 million illegal immigrants? No. I'll take 1 million of these every year. I'll take these guys all day long. Play this and have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Grabando, ¿no? Grábame, grábame. No olvides eso, grábame. Me lo voy a sacar del bolsillo.
Oh my God!
Mi primer cheque americano. ¿Cuánto gané yo aquí? ¡Sí!
Look at the taxes.
Pero prefiero esto que no Fidel Castro. Fidel Castro me ha quitado más. El comunismo me ha quitado más. ¿Tú sabes qué? Este es mi primer cheque por hora. Que tú sientes que cada hora de trabajo vale. Que cada hora de trabajo tiene una importancia en tu vida. Y que se lucha, que sabes que puedes luchar por algo. Es un sentimiento que no es comparable con nada. Porque nunca lo tuve en mi país. En Cuba no lo hay. Y aquí lo tengo la prueba.